Hey yo, what's going on? I am AI Smith. We are equally clothed, and you are tuned into our Black History Makers, aka Dope Conversations with Dope People series. And right now, we've got one of the, if not the dopest, poet, author, motivational speaker, construction worker, bodybuilder, all of this. Okay, minus the last two, but everything else, he's completely legit. This is my man, friend of the brand, NDC Poetry. NDC, what's happening, man?
My good brother, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Not as good as your beard, but I'm doing well
Hey, look,
myself.
I'm a little scruffy, brother. I ain't had a haircut in a couple of weeks. I got the hat on.
That's hey, it go with the whole activist poet vibe, man. All you need is a bongo and a dashiki, brother. You in there?
Here you go.
Man, it's so good to have you, man. We really, really appreciate your time. We know you're busy. You just coming off tour, right?
Yes. I am. Coming off of doing a very miniature, college tour. When I did about three or four schools. I was at the last school I was at was my alma mater, actually, UNC Pembroke.
Okay.
I got to MC the talent show and also do some spoken word, poetry throughout the show. And then the week before I was there, I actually not even the full week before I was there. A couple of days before I was there, I got to go to Prairie View A&M.
Wow.
Down in Texas, and rock out with them for their R&B and Lovers Night.
Nice.
They had a lot of great student talent. And Samote, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with him, but Samote, he was the headliner for that event, and it was super dope.
Wow.
I love Prairie View, I love HBCUs, man. Like it's beautiful. So it's been a real tumultuous and exciting year so far. 5 months in, it's been super interesting and super fun.
So is that who you are predominantly like writing your poetry for? Are you focusing on the young college kind of age student, or is this just whatever's coming from your heart?
It's mainly whatever's coming from my heart. I think that a lot of what I kind of say really does resonate with college age students, because I just turned 25, but I just got out of undergrad a couple of years ago, and
Okay.
I'm still in grad school, taking a little break, but I'm still in grad school, and I think that just my style, my delivery, and I think the amount of energy and charisma that I give in each performance, it really does resonate with not only college students and college folks, but I think that I can go into any room, any situation, any type of performance, and I can engage with whatever crowd I'm put in front of, because that's the mark of being a true, having the gift, and taking the gift and the craft seriously. Just being able to articulate your message and convey those messages in different ways, so it's digestible for different people without diluting like what you're trying to get across. So yeah.
How do people from different cultures respond to your art?
Well, okay, so there's there's a few different kinds of responses. So
Okay.
like, of course, I'm black, and with me being black,
It's right there.
black folks, it's all you know you know what I'm saying, brother. I couldn't deny it if I tried. So black folks really are they see themselves in
Right.
my content, in my like, because of like that's how I identify, and like I'm proud of being a black man. They rock with that.
Good.
But then after a while, and like thanks to having like a lot of great mentors like my mentor out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. His name is LJ Bowens.
Shout out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
You know, he started to you know, put me in different kinds of spaces to you know, like really test you know, like the range of my work. And then, you know, I have like some frat brothers, you know, like my brother Ant. He you know, he's a white guy, but you know, like he's familiar with the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He respects, he understands, and you know, like he knows, you know, like his place as, you know, an ally, and you know, someone, you know, who can, you know, like really you know, also give me an outside perspective as, you know, being, you know, a white man, just kind of like how, you know, white audiences may be perceiving it. And you know, we had a conversation. Well, we had a couple of different conversations, and you know, he was like, yeah, so like, how big do you want to be? Like, do you want to be like just like open mic big? Like, do you want to be like just, you know, like where you're at, or do you want to be like Radio City Music Hall, or like, you know, like like really big, you know, venues?
Yeah.
You know, like, man, I'm trying to be the biggest of the big. You know, brother, I'm gonna be as big as I can get.
Yes, sir.
And you know, he was like, well, you know, that's good. And like the thing that, you know, like he helped me understand, and what LJ helped me understand, was that, you know, like as great as it is to, you know, be able to, you know, go, and because like everything I do is black, you know, all of my experiences are, you know, black. You know, it's super important to, you know, like have, you know, like those kinds of pieces that are not always overtly political, or that are not always, you know, like overtly like in your face racism this, racism that, you know, like all these kinds of things. And for a while, like that's kind of where I was segmented into. And like that's where I was like pigeonholed into, and like people would only consider me to be this type of poet. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's the political poet, that's the black, like he does like all this. But then I'm like, nah, like, you know, like I have like all of these experiences that, you know, like I've had from, you know, the time I was born to, you know, just yesterday. And you know, like all of those are not just primarily rooted in, you know, social justice, so to speak. So when I started to do more, you know, internal work, started to do more journaling. I just started therapy this year. You know, like all of that allowed me to, you know, show more sides of myself as not only a writer, but as a person. And when I started to do more mental health pieces, or, you know, like things that I was personally experiencing, or, you know, like traumatic things that, you know, I experienced, you know, that started to open the door for me to connect with people from all kinds of cultures, you know, all kinds of backgrounds. And, you know, I think that, you know, now I've gotten to the point where, you know, I can quite literally connect with anyone. Now, some of those experiences may, you know, give or take, you know, a couple of people who, you know, are just completely, you know, oblivious to
they
life.
Don't hear.
Or, you know, exactly.
Yeah.
But man, like I've had performances where, man, like I'm doing something that is personal to me, something that I experienced, just me. I'm not worried about anybody else. It was just me.
Yeah.
And I'll have people from like middle age to elderly black men, you know, like come up and be like, man, like, young brother, like you was talking for me, like I went through something similar back in 1970 whenever I was. And I'm like, dang. Or I have, you know, a white woman, you know, and brother, I'm not white nor a woman, so I like on the surface we have nothing in common. You know, I'll have, you know, like I've had, you know, white women come up to me after, you know, performing, you know, with like tears in their eyes and like crying because like they've connected with something like personal that happened to them. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I was speaking on that happened to me. So like the more that I've, you know, done like my internal work, and the more that I continue to do this internal work, and the more I put that in my writing, like the more, I've started to see, like really understand further that, there's not a lot of differences, in us as people, because like we're all, like living this human experience, and like we all face similar things. And I think sometimes, we do, get caught up in labels and in, stereotypes and, all of these kind of things.
Now, how important, I hear a lot of Black people, and they talk about how, if a case in point, I just saw this video, and this guy was, asking people, do they think that Black people can be truly free without our own land, and, basically starting our own community inside of America. How important, or is it more important that Black people focus on unity inside of just the Black culture, or is it more important that we focus on unity with different cultures?
I think the big thing starts, like it might sound cliche, but I think the big thing starts like within, like working on yourself, because like if we're all a part of the community and we're all contributing to the community, if we're not right, then the community can't be right. I like to call it my the Lauryn Hill theory of the Miss Lauryn Hill theory of balance or something, because like she has that line, how you gonna win if you ain't right within? And
reciprocity. That's exactly. I learned that from Lauryn Hill, reciprocity.
Hey, look, I think everybody learned that. I was like, what in the world is reciprocity?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But now, because like the thing is, and what I really want people to understand is that in no point in history have Black people always been on one accord. At no point in history has there always been this like we're always saying, and as much as I want Black people to unify and come together as one, it's not going to happen the way that like we idealistically think that it will happen. For example, if we even think back to the civil rights movement, there were several different factions within the civil rights movement.
True.
Like when people were going out and doing the nonviolent protests, when people were doing the freedom rides, when people were doing the sit-ins, you have a whole nother group of people that are like, why in the world? Why are y'all doing these things? Why are y'all just putting yourselves on a platter to do these things? And there were factions within the movement itself. And then it continues to go further and further back, like with Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, like all of, like during each era, like there's never been this like same unity that like we're speaking of, because even though we're Black and we have shared experiences, we're still different people. Like we're still people, because this same unity that we're looking for, white people don't even have that kind of unity. Nobody's ever calling for white people to unify the way Black people are unifying, because white people, we've seen it, we can see it. White people don't even get along with themselves. So it's like, I think that it'll be a beautiful thing for like us to do that internal work, and then on a community by community basis, like we figure out what the needs of like each community like is, because it's like with Ella Baker, for example, Ella Baker, she came from a generation, well, she was a part of a generation where like she was kind of overshadowed by like a lot of men within the NAACP, within the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, even though like she was like the founder, one of the founding members.
And
like her organizing model was like very simple. It's like, while like the national organizations are trying to like have this like cookie cut, like this cookie cutter mold for like how organizing should be. Like she was trying to get it across to them, like what's gonna work in this community in New York or in New Jersey or in Chicago or whatever urban city is not gonna be the same method that's gonna work in North Carolina. It's not gonna work in Mississippi. It's not gonna work in it's not gonna work in these same areas, because we're not dealing with the same kinds of things. And there have been so many other kinds of activists and people like throughout history that have, also made like similar arguments, to that. And I think that, it's just all about, again, us, figuring out, how we can better, ourselves individually, because, sometimes, how we treat ourselves is how we treat other people. Like that's a reflection, like how other people treat you and how other people see you is a reflection of, like how they truly like see themselves and how they truly treat themselves behind closed doors, no matter how they present. Sometimes like when it's just them and they have to sit with themselves, like people hate on other people because they hate themselves, Nas, Nas said that the urban philosopher Nasir Jones,
yes, sir,
said hating is just confused admiration. And I think that's what a lot of this is. We sometimes we amplify the insecurities in other people, because they see what they aren't at the moment.
What would you say as a black man is your greatest frustration in America? Is it the way that African Americans are portrayed in media? Is it the actuality of our relationships with each other, or is it just something totally different?
Ooh, man, I got a lot of frustrations as a
okay, that's not uncommon for African Americans.
You know what I'm saying? I think I don't even know if I can pick just one. I think in general, like my frustration or frustrations kind of like revolve around this notion of I guess kind of, which is within the community and also like broader, just like the notion of manhood, maybe, just and like manhood in the Black community, especially. And I had to check myself as I was watching I forgot the brother's name. I'm gonna find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But, and he was talking about how like everybody as of late, like maybe the past couple of years, has been on this this thing about like toxic masculinity, like reevaluating like what manhood is and like all these kinds of things. And I had to check myself where like I'm trying to make sure that I'm not one of the like trying to be one of these like holier than thou kind of brothers. That's like, oh well, what I'm saying, like I'm not like Future, so I'm good. I don't got to do the same amount of work as as like certain brothers got to do, because they are walking toxicity. But then I have to like remind myself, or like something will come along and remind me like, nah, bro, like there was a time when like you were thinking like this, and you were doing this, and like just because one, I didn't know any better. Two, I didn't have anybody to like show me what like what manhood really is. And I think that like a lot of the frustration really does come from the fact that like there's so many different definitions or like conceptions of what manhood could be. based on, like a number of different things, like including the media, including the kinds of lyrics that we listen to, including our own upbringings. And I think that, like we've got to find a way to, like, I don't know, like healthily define, like what a man is.
Yeah.
Because, like for forever, like if you were to express emotion, if you were to show vulnerability, like you ain't no man. Like you, like you out here doing, look, that's a woman trait. That's for women. Like you out here, like doing whatever, and it's just like I empathize with brothers who express manhood in alternate forms. Yeah. Because I'm like who's to say, like who is there to like show him the ropes, and like who's to say that someone was there to show him. Yeah. And if someone was there, who showed that man, what I'm saying, how to operate as a man? Like it's like this never ending like cycle of like trying to like figure out like what that is. So I think like that might be like one of my biggest frustrations, like especially as like a black man. Yeah. Because, we already have this stigma within black culture in general, to where like if you're black, man or woman, you got to be strong. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to put family on your back. You got to do you're not allowed to show emotion. Like don't let them see you sweat. Like all these kinds of things. Yeah.
Do you think that kind of speaks to we hear about generational curses? Yeah. Do you think that curse is more of a trauma that's passed down through either the miseducation or misinformation of another generation?
Absolutely. I think it's a lot. There's a book and there's a theory called less of a theory, but it's called post-traumatic slave syndrome. And it was developed by Dr. Joy DeGroy, and she has like a lot of videos on YouTube, where she's like discussing it as well. But I definitely encourage y'all to pick up the book. And there's also a workbook that comes with the book as well. Wow. But like it really talks about how a lot of the things that we deal with from within, our communities, from especially from a mental health standpoint, stem, directly from, the effects of slavery. And because like it's been proven, like scientifically proven, that like trauma is epigenetic. So like trauma is literally like passed down like in our genes. And not only is it passed down in our genes, it starts to show up in our behaviors, especially when it comes to like how we speak about our children, to the ways that we discipline our children. Like one of the things that she talks about, and there's another book called Stolen Childhood by Wilma King, like where she talks about it. But like, for example, when like a black parent is kind of like talking down on their children, like in public, especially if it's to like a white person, and like a white person is like, oh well, he looks so well dressed, so well mannered, he speaks so well, and like the black parent will quickly be like, oh nah, he's a handful, he be getting in trouble from time to time, like that is a reflection of like what would happen on plantations when enslavers and like drivers and like all of them, like when they would see the potential in an enslaved child, because they were good for separating families. They would see the potential in an enslaved child and be like, oh yeah, he's a strong one, he can do this, he can do that. And then like in an effort to like not have her baby like sold away to another plantation or anywhere else. Wow. Like the mother would tell the enslaver, like nah, like he does this, he's clumsy, he does like wow. She sees his value, but she has to bring down his value because she does not want her child to be separated from her.
Mm.
And like it's little things like that you know, like we like people always say, oh, it's not that deep, it's not that deep, but it is quite literally that deep, because like it's continued to happen. I know, brother, I know it's insane. It's insane.
Wow. Well, listen, we got a few minutes left here, and I want to touch on one more thing that we kind of spoke about before we got started. You're doing some new work now in the well, tell us about the new work you're doing with the death penalty.
Okay, cool. So I just recently joined on with the North Carolina Coalition. I'm based out of North Carolina, for those who don't know. With the
North Kakalaki.
You know what I'm saying? North Kakalaki, you know what I'm saying? Where Petey Pablo at? Shout out to Petey Pablo. Petey Pablo walks so J. Cole can run.
I don't think that's how that went, but okay.
Hey, shout out little brother and all that. I'm working with the North Carolina Coalition for alternatives to the death penalty. I am going to be coming on as the community engagement organizer. So I'll be coordinator, and I'll be doing a lot of organizing work, doing a lot of facilitation work. I'll still be doing a lot of poetry and spoken word. Like within the community and at different kinds of events. But in addition to that, I've also just started working with not just started, but I really just came onto the team with Billie Allen, and Billie Allen is a black man who was unjustly convicted of murdering a white security guard back in 1997. 1997 was the year that I was born. And I know. I know. He is currently on federal death row. And I was able to get in contact, like with him, through his sister, through social media, and through like a lot of other like really like happenstance, really God ordained, kinds of events. I'm blessed and I'm honored to be able to like work with him and alongside his family, and his team, to make sure that like we bring him home. In addition to like just getting the death penalty completely eradicated, just getting it abolished in its entirety. But like our big thing with Billy is just like making sure that like Billy gets home. You can find more about Billie Allen at www.freebillyallen.com. That's BILLIE Allen ALLEN.com. That's freebillyallen.com. And there's also a petition on change.org to really get more done for him. And he's a phenomenal artist, writer, crazy gifted, like poet, wordsmith, like not like his mind is like like the brother is sharp. He's been fighting for his life, and he's quite literally been fighting for his life because he's been dealing with all kinds of like different medical things while he's incarcerated. So like we're just really trying to make sure that we do everything that we can to like get him home and show the world that he is an innocent man.
It reminds me, and it reminded me when you first told me about this. It reminded me of the movie Mercy.
Just Mercy, that's my movie, man.
And I watched that. It took me a couple times because it was heavy, so I had to watch like the first half, and then I was like, "Hey, I'll be back. I need mercy from the movie. I'll be back." But that's awesome to see that you're using your gift and you know your education and everything that you are to be able to move this agenda in the right direction. So you know, we'll definitely be praying for you and Billie Allen, and you know, let us know what we can do. And if you're watching right now, go to that website, freebillyallen.com, go to change.org, sign the petition. I'm sure we can probably read up on the case. So if you know, I like to be informed before I make any decisions. So inform yourself, do the research. But we want justice, we want fairness, we want righteousness in this country for everyone. And if he's unjustly here or where he is, then justice needs to be served and he needs to be vindicated.
Brother, when you look at the details of the case, you're gonna be like, this is absurd. This is absurd.
Well, I know you, so when you said it, I'm like, okay, this is real, because I know NDC, and he don't just sign on us just whatever. He like, wait a minute, let me read the fine print.
Exactly.
He like one of the people that read the ingredients on the back of Twinkies and be like, no, I don't eat that. I'd be like, it's delicious. I really like this one. Yo, NDC, man, we so much appreciate you. Now, before I let you go, man, I got a couple minutes, but I got to hit you with this. I didn't tell you, but every time we do an interview, we hit you with like 5 quick questions, very short answer. You can give me an answer real quick. You ready?
Yes.
First question, favorite cartoon?
Scooby-Doo, without a question.
That makes so much sense. Favorite breakfast cereal?
It's between Frosted Flakes and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the right answer. Biggest pet peeve?
People that won't allow me to, people that won't leave me alone. I don't know. People, I need to spend.
Are you single, brother?
I'm not single.
Oh, well, you gonna have to let that pet peeve go.
It's different. It's different.
Okay. We'll talk about that off air then. Okay. Who is your hero, either poetry or life?
My immediate hero is my older brother, Lamar.
Shout out.
Big hero, Malcolm X.
Shout out. Very good. Y'all need to read up on Malcolm X. His story has not been told properly, by the way. Read up on him because it's a lot more than what the media and the news has told you. Good man. If not poetry, what would you be doing? Teaching poetry?
Probably. or either poetry or Black history. Or
okay.
Black history with poetry.
I could totally dig that. And NDC, man, we appreciate you so much. This has been a dope conversation. Y'all make sure y'all follow him. Where can we follow you?
You can follow me everywhere except to my house. You can follow me at NDC on Instagram, NDC_poetry. On TikTok, NDC Poetry. I have a website, www.ndcpoetry.com. And
you got some poetry that's streaming.
And I got some poetry that is streaming on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you stream your music. I am there. Under Nick Corman, which is my government name. Well, that's my government name. Yes, Nick Corman. So yes, I'm Nick Corman, y'all. Remember that when you see me, you know what I'm saying, doing poetry or, you know, talking, you know, somewhere big. You saw me here first.
That's right.
First, exclusive.
That's right. You met Nick here. You're going to have to see ND. It's going to cost you $200 a ticket for that one.
Exactly. Yeah, look. You seen ND, but then to see, you're going to have to, you know, pay for some poetry there.
All right. Hold on. You didn't let me know we was doing this. I got bar. Hey, we got to get out of here. Listen, I want you to comment in the comments below. Tell us anything about your experience with poetry. What do you think? If you've checked out NDC's music, or excuse me, not music, unless he got some beats coming too. If you checked out his poetry, let us know below. Go to the website. Let us know that you signed the petition. We got to do this. We got to build together. We appreciate your time, NDC.
Hey, look. And the artwork behind me, that's Tupac and Biggie. Shout out to my brother TJ Corlew. His name is TJ Corlew, but on Instagram it's Well Rock City. It's Well Rock City. WELROC_city, I believe. Yeah, Well Rock City. TJ Corlew, the boy nice.
Love y'all, man. Got the last shout out. We'll holler at you. Peace. Yeah.